to Flipside Crypto. Joining me today is a very special guest, Ingo Rübe. Did I get that correct, Ingo?
That was absolutely perfect.
So Ingo is joining us from Kilt.io. And could we start off with, Ingo, could you explain in two different levels, what is Kilt.io? So let's start with kindergarten level and then an advanced level.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks for inviting me, and great to be here. What is Kilt.io for kindergarten?
Yeah.
It basically solves a huge problem that maybe people in kindergarten already have, and this is
Oh.
identity in the internet. So Kilt basically just brings the identity as we have been used to it for the last 500 years into the internet world, because the way the internet handles identity right now is fundamentally wrong, we think, and this is why it has to be changed, and this is why we work on that. So that was the kindergarten level. The other level for the more advanced people is first explaining why it is wrong in the internet right now. What is wrong in the internet right now is that all of your identity is basically stored in huge data silos with big, mostly American companies, and that you don't control your identity. And so this, to understand this and where the problem is, you need to first understand what identity actually is. People think identity, so this is my identity card, this is my identity. No, it isn't. Because if you think really about your identity, it probably says, yeah, I'm a person, I'm maybe a man, I study this and this, I can drive a car, I'm from this country, I like this kind of food, and this makes your identity, right? So, and how is this represented in the last, say, 500 years? Normally, it consists of an identifier and certain credentials. So identifier, this is something which is in the normal world always decentralized. An identifier could be your face, for example, because there's a lot of pictures on passports of faces, right? And you are identified by your face. It can also be your fingerprint in the crypto world. It can be a public key. So there's different ways of identify. Also, a name, Ingo, is a nice identifier for me, right? In this call, at least. So because if someone then says Ingo, then it's obviously me, which is addressed. So this identifies me. But this identifier doesn't say anything about my identity yet. It's just a name or a number or something. And then for creating an identity, you normally add a lot of credentials to that. So when I look in my pocket, I find something like a passport, I find something like a driver's license, I find something like a library card, maybe I'm a member of some club, which makes up my identity. And then when I look at home in my drawers, now I also find a university degree and stuff like that, which also forms my identity, right? And all those credentials, they reference to one of my identifiers. So some of them have a picture of me, some of them just have my name, but then my name is printed on my identity card again, and there's my picture on it. So that actually they are linked together. So what a identity actually is, it is an identifier and a couple of credentials linked to that. This is what creates an identity in the normal world, or in the physical and offline. In the online world, we have done it completely different. So when you think about your internet identity, this is something that is actually stored in the silo of some foreign companies, basically, right? And so you ask them to give you an identifier, which is your username and password, and then they store it for you. So they have it's not yours, it's centralized, right? They have your identifier in the first place. And then you start behaving on those platforms, and this generates credentials for you on their platform. You never get them. And and then if you want to use another service, say you are already with Facebook and you want to use WhatsApp, then WhatsApp starts negotiating about you with Facebook without you being involved at all. You don't see credentials, you don't see your identifier. It's all in someone else's possession. And this actually, when we look at those two things, right, like your wallet and your drawer in opposition to your internet identity, actually you lost a lot of your privacy, but you also totally lost control over your identity. And this is something which we think that we have to change. And what the Kilt protocol does, it transforms the process from the physical world into the digital world. So it will be possible for people again to hold their own credentials, to generate their own identifier without a company being involved. And so liberating the identity of the people again and give them sovereignty over their over their credentials. Because with my credentials in the physical world, I normally choose, so first of all, I have them, right? I have them here in my pocket. And then I choose who to show them to, which part I want to show. And I also, for what reason I want to show them, right? So if maybe I might want to go into a bar where I have to be 18, so I can use my driver's license for that. But I don't want the driver's license department to know that I went into a bar, right? Why would they care, actually? And maybe even the bouncer. I don't want the bouncer to know what my name is. I just want the bouncer to know that it's me, so show them the picture. And the date of birth, because he has to know that I'm over 18, but he doesn't need to know who I am or what my name is. So I can put my thumb over my name there and still show the credential. All these things work in the physical world, and we bring all those possibilities into the digital world. So this is what Kilt.io is about.
But I'm sorry, whenever I listen to this dilemma of personal information, of personal data, I always think about the other side, the institutional side, so to speak. And their rhetoric is always, to protect you, we must know you. You know, there's KYC in banking. There is anti-terrorism information gathering. And it seems what you are doing right now it gives power to the user, to the individual, but how does it relate to what the institutional actors and what the state wants?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, then I have to dig a little bit deeper, because that's really a very good question, because we always when we start, especially when we speak with governments, then we always come around those questions. So how the process works. It works quite exactly the same way as in the physical world. So in the physical world, when you have we make the driver's license example, because that's always in the physical world, you make a test for your driver's license, and then you go to this guy there and say, hey, please send me a driver's license, I passed the test, right? So those two roles we call the claimer. This is the one who wants the driver's license. And then there's the attester. This is the one who issues the driver's license. So this guy who issues the driver's license, he does have some trust, obviously. So he's a trusted entity. Otherwise, if you would come to me and say, hey, can you issue a driver's license? I could do that, but in the end, that wouldn't be worth a lot, because no policeman would ever accept this thing, right? This is the third role. There's the policeman. We call that the verifier. So the claimer goes to the attester, says, give me my driver's license. The attester checks if you deserve the driver's license, and then the claimer gets handed out the driver's license in a digital form and stores it in his wallet. And then the claimer meets Mr. Policeman, the verifier, and the verifier says, show me a driver's license, please. And then the claimer shows the driver's license, and then the verifier looks at the driver's license and says, oh, wow, this is signed by the driver's license department. And it has the right picture on it, right? So I can trust this guy. There's no technological relationship between the verifier policeman and the guy in the driver's license. So the driver's license department will never found out that I just met the policeman, but the policeman can trust the driver's license department. So, and what we're doing is we don't take away those old structures, because we still have the trusted entities in there. So trusted entities are necessary. So if there's a trusted entity which issues you KYC, this is still possible. The difference is that this KYC isn't held with this company. It is stored with you. You get it handed out like in the old days, in the physical days, and you decide who to show your KYC to and when and for what reason. That's the difference. We don't take away the KYC. KYC is still possible, and I'm not going to doubt KYC. I think it's necessary in many, many ways. It's not that technology makes your KYC. That wouldn't be possible, because I think we have it almost in our DNA that we trust entities. It's not just because we have beautiful technology which can, for some reason, do something else, it won't go away. So let's go away 1 second from the driver's license. So I have a company here around me. I'm the CEO of this company, and this company has a door. And so this door could basically be a verifier, like the policeman, and the employees could be claimers, and I could be the issuer or a tester for cards, which every employee gets. And when he comes to the door in the morning, he shows this card to the door, and the door negotiates with him and says, "Okay, I know this guy, I come in." So I don't want technology to control who gets this card. I want to be control. This is what, and I'm the tester. I'm not giving away this thing, and I think it's necessary, and it's just how we live. So this trusted entity thing shouldn't be replaced by technology. It's just the infrastructure which has to be replaced by technology, so that we can use verifiable credentials also in the digital world, which we can't right now because they're all sitting with some companies.
Understood. Very important points you're raising, and each and every one of them could be an interview in and of itself. So I'm just going to tackle this. Are other companies also trying to do the same thing as Kilt.io, or are you in a niche of your own, so to speak?
As a small company sitting here in Berlin, it would be completely impossible to change the world in that way, right? So we gathered with a lot of other companies together in the Decentralized Identity Foundation. I think there's over 200 companies now.
Wow.
Many small companies like us, but also big ones like IBM and Microsoft. We all see the same problem, and we're all working on the standardization of those verifiable credentials and those decentralized identifiers, so that they are compatible throughout the systems of all the companies that are part of that. So this is a joint, not a joint venture, but this is a joint effort, I would say, by industry around the world.
Wow. So what's the scale? So we understand the scale, but what about the speed of development? So where are we now in Kilt.io's roadmap, so to speak?
So in Kilt.io's roadmap, we are actually very close to a very important point, I would say. We have been, the roadmap was like this. The first year was basically research, joining all the working groups of the decentralized, bringing our stuff in, writing a white paper, all that. That was 2018. 2019 and 2020 were heads down, I would say, development phases, setting up a testnet where all those functionalities is testable, and then building an SDK around it so people then can also use it and stuff like that. Connecting this with blockchain technology from Polkadot and the Parity guys. All those things. That was the last 2 years, and this year is basically ramping up for the go live of the system, which is going to happen pretty soonish, I would say. So in the next couple of months, I would say we will see live.
Awesome. And actually, you mentioned Polkadot. What's it like being in the Polkadot ecosystem, and why Polkadot as your, let's just say, ecosystem partner instead of the other platforms?
Yeah, so Polkadot, the decision to go with Polkadot was made very early. So it was made in 2018 already. And I think we were one of the first projects which started to build on their technology platform called Substrate. And the decision was made because we made a lot of interviews around what we build and what we want to build with industry partners, because we think it's necessary to also have industry partners in there. And industry partners basically demand two things from such a system, especially when it's blockchain based. The first thing, is they actually love the idea that there's a permissionless blockchain behind it, so that there's really truth in the system and nothing like Hyperledger or so, where you have to trust a couple of companies again. So actually you want to have a system like that in a totally decentralized way. So this is demand number one. And then you say, yeah, we can, for example, build this on Ethereum. And then they say, okay, and when we have to store an attestation on chain, actually, how much does it cost? And then the answer is, I don't know, because I don't know the gas cost, because the gas cost normally changes, right? It's sometimes it's 50 cents, sometimes it's $100 or something. And then they say, wow, if we want to build this on industrial scale, then it doesn't work because it's part of it's the production cost, right? And if we don't know the production cost, how can we ever make a price? And then they say, thank you, but no. And so this is a dilemma. Either you have the truth in the system and you have a permissionless blockchain, or you have a steady price, right? And we were looking for a technology which can basically solve this dilemma. And this is what Polkadot does. Polkadot is a completely permissionless system, but you can, as it is a proof of stake system, and has a shared security approach, you can, as a parachain, define your gas price and keep it steady. And this was the reason why we actually went into this ecosystem. Being there that early was also a really nice decision, because we were able to watch how it grows and see all the other companies which are engaged there, and also start speaking with those guys and making plans with those guys. I really like the ecosystem because it is still very small and very cozy. It's very easy to start cooperations and just reflect ideas and stuff like that with all the other people from the other companies, which makes it a really great community, because there's not so much, I wouldn't say, and not so sincere projects there. They are all very intelligent people, and they're all striving for building something really cool, and really using technology and really bringing value to the market. So it's a small ecosystem which is striving to do great things, actually, and doing them together from the first day on, and not being competitive amongst each other. And this is a very, very good feeling. I'm absolutely sure it's not going to stay like this. It's going to grow big, and grows big, it's going to be nasty. But in the beginning, right now, we are a really nice group of people.
Nice. And we can see the progress every day. DailyCoin releases an article. Usually we kind of have the usual suspects, right? It's usually, you can be sure that Polkadot is doing something amazing. You can be sure that Cardano community is up to something. Usually the SEC is battling, Ripple. Some things are just a given, the ecosystem right now. And now with Kilt coming along, it's exciting to see that your small project scale up, because we truly think that this is a big issue which you're trying to solve. We are quite interested to see how you'll do. And actually that brings me to the flip side. It's our staple. And I'll ask you to maybe flip the scenario a bit. What is misunderstood about Kilt.io?
Yeah, so about Kilt.io, I would actually like to start with what is misunderstood in crypto in general.
Oh, feel free.
So what I find, because I'm talking to a lot of people, and now as I'm in some podcast, people on the street, but the sons and daughters of friends start asking me about crypto, and the only thing that they ever ask is, which coin shall I buy? This is actually quite a misunderstanding of the whole thing, I would say. It is, well, I know the Bitcoin price is really important, but there's so many builders out there. There's so much infrastructure being built, which can actually change the world and change the internet as it is. And I think people should look more into, hey, Is this just a coin because there needs to be another coin, or is this something where it's a project which comes along with a coin, but this project can actually do something? And I think this is a very big misconception of the crypto world. I think over 90% probably of the people in this crypto ecosystem just look for prices of coins, which are important, I know. But but it should be more like look into the projects which are doing really cool things. So it's not only the Polkadot ecosystem. I would also mention, for example, Filecoin. This is something which came up in 2017 already, which is just a great idea, and which also shows that it is practical and it actually did a system, and it has the potential of really replacing a lot of storage solutions out there in the world which are centralized and not good for the world and for the society at all. So there's many things which are actually happening, and if people would look more a little bit more into the real builders projects and see if there's a necessity for such a project and if there's a use case for such a project, and that would be really nice. So I think
But just to play devil's advocate, isn't it a problem that, for example, we went on to Kilt.io's website, did some digging, watched your previous interviews, for example, but we are crypto fanatics, so to speak. DailyCoin wants to understand every project. It's our mission to bring crypto to the masses without losing the engineer's touch, so to speak. Less marketing, more engineering. But isn't the market itself like a bit making it harder for regular people to understand them? Because right now, what's the approach? Oh, you don't understand the project? Read the white paper. I mean, can we really expect usual people, 9 to 5 working people, to read about the thousands of projects which are around?
I'm not saying that this, but if there would be a little bit more interest in understanding the projects, there would be communication probably as well. We try to do really good communication. We try to be on every possible platform and talk about what we do, and also hand out things like Medium posts, which are easy to understand. And we also have a white paper which has 200 pages, and I'm sure that this is more for scientists, right? I don't want to out there to read a white paper. But there's a lot of Medium posts out there where we describe what we're doing in a continuous way. And I think sincere projects do this from time to time. And then it should be possible to find out about them. Some projects also have nice wikis where you can really dig into what they're doing and then get a feel about that. I know that it is work, of course. It's much easier to go to a casino, but if you want to get this casino thing a little bit out of your life, then it's maybe better to really dig into the projects and spend some time understanding what they do, because then you can maybe you can even support them, right? And if you feel that they are working on in the right direction.
Yeah. And I'm also very interested in your opinion, Ingo, about the media's role, right? So we're trying to educate people about crypto. For example, like today, we're trying to educate about Kilt.io, your mission, what you're doing. What can we do better to better translate your messages to the wider audience?
I think there's a huge difference between media and media. The kind of media that you are in, you are actually doing very good because you are doing education. This is the most important thing, right? But if you look into mainstream media, for example, it's absolutely terrible. Either they write, buy Bitcoin and then you'll be rich tomorrow, or they say Bitcoin is going to die. And this is a very interesting discussion, of course, but actually there's so many uneducated people out there actually who write this stuff. That's really not doing good to the ecosystem at all. I think what you do is absolutely right and absolutely perfect. We have to start educating the people about the technology behind that, but not so deep. So look at the internet. No one out there really knows how the internet works. It somehow works, but it has a lot of applications on top of them, and people know about applications. So as we're now in the blockchain world starting to build the applications, why not speak about the applications and how they work and how they change things? And then the people will understand the difference. The people understood the difference between a telephone and the internet. One thing has a screen, the other doesn't. It's more interactive. You can talk to more people. So people love that, and I think people will also love the blockchain technology, but not the technology as such. They will love the applications on top of that, because they become practical, they become useful, they produce more privacy in the people's life, and stuff like that. And I think this type of education is really, really needed. And when you do this, you're basically doing perfect. It's not necessary to understand how actually a block is manufactured and how total economies in detail work. That's for specialists. But to get it into the mainstream, and mainstream, I not only mean Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. I mean especially the businesses and the governments out there. They have to understand that there's practical applications which bring freedom to the people, which bring chances to their country's industries as well. To build on top of them and use them. This is what we need very much, I would say.
Yeah, completely agree with you, Ingo. And actually, that's it for this episode with Ingo Rübe. But in the next interview, I think we can cover quite a few more topics, because you're a wealth of knowledge, and we'll gladly welcome you on the Flipside of Crypto. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one.
Thank you very much.